comprehensive exam in June, right? When is it? The 5th, right? Okay. So now you have about how many weeks left? Not many, okay? 2-3 weeks left, okay. The tutorial for MIS today, it will be more like the in general picture, okay? We will not go into detail about what we have learned in class. But generally, I will talk about what are we looking for? What going to be the criteria that we're going to use to grade your exam, okay? And in a conceptual level. But if you have any specific question, just maybe you can raise your hand and ask. That may be beneficial to other people as well, okay? Again, I will not go into detail about what is value chain, what is function model. Hope this, recall something. Okay, but I mean, it will be like, how can you use it for helping the organization, okay? And I think this session will last about 1.5 hours or even less than that. So if you have any question, just you can wait until the end or maybe interrupt me during the tutorial, okay? First of all, information system. Organization invest. Okay, one thing. I do not have the handout for you, but the handout is posted in the e-learning. Okay, how many of you see the handout already? So, okay, so you can go to the website, the CMMU website, and you will see the e-learning. You can click onto that. In the e-learning, you will have the comprehensive exam review, I think. Okay, and in that folder, you will see you have to log in, password and everything, and then you will see the MIS tutorial, which will be the same slide that we will have today. Okay, okay, going back. Organizations invest in information system. Okay, if you can recall in your MIS class, every time when we start the class, okay, we're talking about information system. But the most important thing is about organization, right? Okay? When an organization wants to adopt any information system, they must have some purpose. Okay, what can be some example of the purpose for getting information system? What can it be? Why? Why they want information system into their organization? The what? Okay, efficiency, what else? Sorry? Set strategy, okay, what else? Decision making. More? I think we have over 100 people here, right? So should be more answer to that. Okay, when you look at the name, information system, okay? You look at the system, you see information. If I say that, okay, first of all, organization want to adopt or get the information system because they want to gain knowledge, okay, about their business environment. That can be include gain knowledge about their customer, okay, gain knowledge about their supplier, or even gain knowledge about the environment in general. Remember information system, they keep some information, right? You heard about CRM, Customer Relationship Management. When organization try to collect customer information and use it, okay? That can be the first objective of getting information system, means gain knowledge from the business environment. And then, as many of you answer, to get business to run, operate in more effective way, okay? In this sense, it can be increase the sale, or we can talk about reduce the operating cost, okay? Or sometimes streamline the process, okay? In this sense, we have some performance measurement, okay? When we talk about the effectiveness. In addition to that, as some of you say, make decision, okay? They want to make decision better, make better decision making. in terms of getting some information, okay? And then to allow them to use resource efficiently and at the end gain competitive advantage, okay? Because at the end of the day, you want to do all this to gain competitive advantage over your competitors. Means you want to do everything to make sure that your customer will choose you over their competitors. And in this class, we will use information system to make that happen, okay? So the first thing is you have to look into the organization, right? Why they need information system. And to optimize that, and I think this one is in lecture number 2. When we talk about information system, we say that, okay, if we want to have information system, we have to make sure that the information system that we gonna build, implement, or even buy, have to align or match with the business, maybe strategy or objective, okay? So that's when we look at the organization. What does the organization do? Okay? What is the nature? Are they in manufacturing? Are they in service? Is it a hospital? Is it a school? Is it a retail? Okay? Or they manufacture something? You have to know that first. You have to learn about the organization first. Okay? And if you can recall from the class, okay, now we get into a little bit more specific. What do we use to learn about organization in MIS? Okay, thank you. Value chain. You should not forget about this, right? Okay, so we have value chain, right? We have value chain to look at the organization. Okay? We have value chain to look at the primary activities and supporting activities, okay, to see how the organization operates in general, okay? And then we have to know what will make it successful. What are the problems that the business face, or what are the opportunities that the business needs to grab at the moment, or sometime in the long run, okay? So in this case, when we look at the organization, we have value chain. And what do we have? How can we derive the strategy, or how can we know what can be the problem and everything? In the value chain, what do you have? Okay, you have CSF and you have activities, right? Okay, what does CSF stand for? Okay, critical success factor, okay? Some of you may laugh. Okay, and Ajahn, you know, this thing we know. But believe me, some of you may not remember. Okay, you know it's CSF over there. In the exam, if we ask you to write the critical success factor, some of you ask me, what is it? It's the same thing. Okay, so try not to memorize things in this class. Try to understand why we have to do this. Why we have to look at the organization? Because we need to have the information system that match with the business strategy, that match with the business nature, okay? So after we know what does the organization do, after we know what's the problem, what is the strategy, then we say, how can we make it successful, okay? And for this class, we're going to use the information system to make that to be successful. And at this point, when you ask yourself, where can the information system help to make the problems go away, to make opportunities to be success, okay, and how? Okay, you can see that we derive it from the top, right? From the organization, from the strategy, from the critical success factor, from the activities, before we go down and say that, okay, this is what we're going to use. And then when you know this is what we're going to use, you have to know where you're going to use it, where in value chain you're going to use it, and then how you're going to use it. and what information system are suitable. Okay, this is when you go into detail about the specific information system that you're going to use. Okay, you need to know what the function of the system. Okay, how does it work? You have some example of the information system. How does it work? Okay, and after that you have to say what are the costs and benefits of the system. Okay, and then the last one is how to implement it successfully. And we hope that what you have learned in the MIS class can answer all these questions. Okay, all these questions can be answered here from the class. And this is how we're going to test you in the comprehensive exam. Okay, so try to ask yourself, can we answer all these type of questions? If you cannot, go back, study, okay, and try to revise or, have some talk to your friend who understand, or even come to me to ask me about some problem if you face during your study, okay? In the comprehensive exam, you demonstrate what you have learned, okay? The most important thing, the first one, of course, we test you. It's a test, right? It's an exam. So you have to know the content of the class, okay? So when I say value chain, so you should know what is value chain for. I talk about enterprise analysis. So what is it? What's the difference between function model and ER diagram? By the way, what is ER diagram? Okay? And then when we talk about cost and benefit, does it have two ways, tangible and intangible? Okay? When we're talking about competitive advantage strategy, is it something about cost leadership, differentiation, so and so? Okay? This kind of thing is called content in the class that we talk in the class. Okay? Or if I say about 6 types of information system, what are those 6 types? Okay, if I talk about DSS, what does DSS mean? Decision support system, okay, good, okay, at least some of you remember, right? So I mean, you may ask me, Ajahn, so do you mean that I need to memorize everything? You need to know at least, okay? You need to know, but just to memorize it, that's not enough. I can tell you that. Because the second thing that we want from you is to apply your knowledge, the content here, to the specific case, okay? You can see that value chain, okay, we're going back to our popular value chain, right? In your lecture, I think every class, you have the manufacturing one, right? Okay, so some of you memorize all that. That's good. You know how the manufacturing do primary activities, supporting activities. Remember inbound logistic, operation, outbound logistic, right? Now, how about if the exam is not about manufacturing? You memorize it, you know some content, but you don't know how to apply to the question that asks you in the exam. That's when you will lose the point, for sure. So that's why, I mean, content is not enough. You need to know how to apply to the given case that's been asked to you, okay? Which I guess all of you should have experience from the exam in your MIS class, okay? And then give good logical reason to support your answer. Always, right? If you can remember, every time I taught in class, I always ask you why. If you use this system, why this system? Why in inbound logistics? Why not in service? Why you think it's TPS? Why it's not MIS? You should have the reason why. And it has to be logical, okay? And specific to the case. And the last thing that please do not forget is about communication. Communication in this case, it's the written exam, right? Okay? You may know the answer, you may have the good logic, you may have the good applying to the case so and so, but you did not write it down. We do not have oral exam, okay? So people who came to me after the exam and tried to explain to me what did you do in your exam doesn't count, right? What we're gonna grade you is on the paper. So make sure that you communicate that well to us, okay? So the knowledge in the class, apply to the given case, give the logical good reason, and the last one, communicate it well, okay? So those gonna be the thing that you should keep in mind. In the MIS Comprehensive, we have actually 3 criteria to grade you, okay? The first one, as I mentioned, understand of the subject means the knowledge. So your answer needs to be correct. Means, for example, if the question is, what is TPS? Actually, it's not going to be this easy, okay? But for example, what is TPS? And you say that it is executive supporting system. This is wrong, right? Okay? This means correct answer. And if you draw the value chain, you draw it wrongly. So that's called incorrect answer. So the first one, we look at whether you understand the subject, means the answer needs to be correct. And the second part, which is very important, is complete. What happens all the time is, sometimes, I don't think sometimes, many times, in MIS, we have many questions in one question, right? We always have A, B, C, or some partially question asked in the same question. Make sure that you answer every question, okay? If we ask you, means we give point to you if you answer. So, complete. The first one, correct. Complete. Okay, with explanation and justification. Sometimes when we ask you to justify, mean you need to explain, okay? Give your answer, explain your answer in more detail. It has to be in detail. Okay, try to read the question carefully in this course. So you're not gonna get the point if it's wrong, vague keyword or abbreviation only. Okay. Second thing, the same as last slide, which is ability to apply to the given case. It has to be specific to the case and appropriate, okay? So you should not have general answer or vague answer or reproduce from class or book. Okay, for example, critical success factor, CSF, okay? Some of you might try to remember good words, okay? Low cost, high productivity, customer satisfaction, okay? About 6 to 7. And in the case, you have no idea what to say. So you think, okay, I put everything for the instructor, for us to grade. And maybe in 6, you know, you know that at least one is correct. That one doesn't work, okay? You get 0. Because that shows to us that you do not understand. You just memorize and try to put things in. Okay, it's not specific to the given case. It doesn't show you are applying the knowledge to the case. So be careful about that. Try not to reproduce things or try to memorize and put everything down. Okay? Okay, any questions so far? Not yet, right? Okay. Logical flow. Again, logical link between business and information system. You remember in your MIS class, after we talk about value chain, function model, ER diagram, database, recall something? Okay, hopefully, okay? We talk about 6 types of information system. Now, when we're trying to solve the problem, we want to say that, okay, we're going to use this particular information system. you have to be able to specify where in the value chain, right? You have to be able to say why. Why in operation? Why not in inbound logistics? And how it can create or enhance the benefit to the organization. So everything has to be in logical link, which the information system that you're going to develop or implement need to support the business strategy. That means that it needs to enhance the business driver and critical success factor. Again, so now another two key things, right? Business driver and critical success factor. Okay? So actually, we use only these three criteria to grade your comprehensive exam. Understanding the subject means the knowledge in the class. Applying to the case means to be specific to the given case. The last one is logical and flow. Okay? Only three things. So it's not going to be hard, right? Now, any question before we go into the example? And again, please do not memorize this one because or reproduce from class or book. Okay, for example, critical in the class and in the tutorial as well. But try to understand, okay? And like I say, if you confused or anything, just raise your hand, okay? High productivity, customer satisfaction, raise your hand. You don't need to ask me the question, okay, if you feel embarrassed to your friends. So I will say it again, okay, for that particular slide. Okay, so CMMU, our school, okay, College of Management. So if the case, if the question is about CMMU, okay, and we have couple questions here, right? Remember this question up front that we say that you should be able to answer if you already passed the MIS course, okay? So the first one that you have to ask yourself, what does the organization do means, what does CMMU do? Okay, so what does we do? What do we do? Okay, first of all, you should know it's a school, right? University. Okay, and then what? Provide education. What else? What do we? Why are you here? What do you do? Study. Okay. We accept students. Okay. We teach them. You graduate, right? In addition to that, we have what? Who teaching you? Instructor, teacher, right? Okay, so we have to recruit instructor. So you have to think about what do we do? What does CMU do? Okay, after you do that, the value chain should come up to your mind right away. Okay, then what will make it successful? You should be able to say that why you here? Why you pick CMMU, not other places? What is it good here? So what is it? Program. What else? Location. Okay. Lecturers. Okay. Right? So it has to be some reason that say to you that why CMMU will be successful. That's when you can derive it for the strategy, critical success factor, and so and so. How to make it successful? Where can information system help and why? Okay? After you know why and how, then what type of information system? And at the end of the day, you should be able to say, what is good for the organization? I mean, what is the cost and benefit? Okay, and when we talk about cost and benefit, we have tangible cost, intangible cost, tangible benefit, intangible benefit, right? And we have another term, what is it? Total cost of ownership. People, some of you who just finished MIS exam, this part, okay? Total cost of ownership, what does it mean? Means, okay, quiet. So total cost of ownership is the cost of hardware, software, right? Network, and also the ongoing cost. Means installation, training, maintenance. Okay? So it's not only buying the equipment, it's mean how can you maintain it. So this kind of thing is the knowledge in the class. Okay? And then how to implement it. So we will go into the detail one by one. First of all, CMMU business, we talk about this, right? Okay, value chain, this one. Manufacturing. Okay, let's talk about value chain a little bit. In value chain, we have two parts, right? Primary activities and supporting activities. Okay? Primary activities is the activities that going on and then add the value to the whole chain. Supporting activities is the activities that support the process in the primary one. Okay? What are the 5 main primary activities? What else? Okay, good enough. Okay? Inbound logistics. So if you think about operation, manufacturing, it's easy, right? We're making something. Okay? We're making this table. So operation is making the table, right? And then what should be in inbound logistics? Something about what does make this table, isn't it? Okay? Operation is making something. Operation is cooking food if you are in the restaurant company, right? If you are in school, maybe we're talking about teaching. Okay? If you're talking about software house, so maybe this is writing the program in operation. But then, one step backward, inbound logistics. To make the table, of course, you have to have wood. You have to have nail. You have to have glue. So those are called raw material. Raw material doesn't come to you for free. You have to buy it from someone. Okay? After you bought it, you have to keep it in some places. You have to find a way to manage your raw material, handling your raw material, dealing with the person who sells you the raw material, which we call supplier. Okay? So those are in inbound logistics before you can make this table. Okay? After the table is done, what happens next in outbound? What do? You're making this table and then what? You just make it sit there in your factory? No, right? You're selling to someone, right? So you're selling the finished good, whatever it is, to the customer. If you're making something, of course, you have to deliver to the customer, isn't it? Okay? Or manage the way to move this finished good to your customer. And the customer can be end user. Or sometimes customer can be factory or can be some company, right? It doesn't matter. But the outbound logistics is how can you transfer that your finished good from your company to your customer. Okay? So there are process in here. Marketing and sales. What happened in marketing and sales? Okay, so let's think about what do we do in marketing? Who's working in marketing? I don't believe you. Some of you work in marketing, I know. But anyway, what do you do in marketing? Promote, right? You do some promotion. You set up the price. Okay? Spot advertisement. Those type of things. Those are called marketing and sales, right? And then the last one, service. It doesn't matter what nature of organization you are in. always you have service, right? It can be service that, what happens if this table doesn't meet up the standard? How long you're gonna have the warranty for your goods? What happens if your food doesn't taste good? So those are all in the service, that what you can provide to your customer. And it will be different according to each business, okay? But you have to understand the nature of the value chain, that they have about 5 main activities, okay? So those are manufacturing. By the way, this is not CMMU value chain. This is manufacturing, right? If you answer this in the CMMU question, this is called not specific to the given case. Okay? You may have some knowledge that, okay, this is how manufacturing value chain look like, but it doesn't answer the question. Okay? And what do we call things below here? Okay? Business driver. Okay? Mean, what is it? Means in operation, what do you want to achieve? You build this table. What do you want to achieve? You want to make the high productivity, okay? Or you want to make it, more efficient, so and so. So that's called business driver. Again, be specific. Use words that familiar to CMMU. So now, when I say CMMU, so now we're talking about school, right? What do we call customer in school? Student, right? Okay? So make sure that you use that word correctly. You're gonna, sorry, you're not gonna get all the points cut out because of that, but a little bit. Try to be more specific. In hospital, what we call customer? Patient, right? Okay? And so and so. So who is performing the job, most of the job in hospital? Doctors, okay? Instructors. Students, registration, grade, performance, graduation. That's the word. That's more specific to CMMU. Okay? And for each activities here should be, like I say, specific to the case that's been asked in the exam. Okay? Any question? So this is just example, right? So now, without looking at this, CMMU, you say that we are teaching the course, right? What else? We're planning the course for you. Okay? We register the student, measure students' performance, like comprehensive exam. Okay? So these are activities that happen in CMMU. That should be in the value chain. Okay? Somewhere around there. After that, CMMU, CSF, and how to achieve. We're talking about this. Some of you mentioned that, okay, you pick CMMU over other university because we have a good program. Maybe we have the different program than other places. We may have differentiate program, right? We may have qualified teacher. We have good service. So those can be the critical success factor, right? And as I say, there are many nice words about critical success factor. The most popular one is customer, of course. Okay, now it depends on each section then. Customer satisfaction, cost, low cost, something like that, right? So try to make sure that this thing is very specific to the case and you know what you're doing, okay? For some people, you put low cost, differentiation, brand image. Customer satisfaction. Do you think that's possible? Do you think it can be one organization that can sell you in a very lowest price, give you the best service, differentiate service, and have everything, including customer satisfaction? In the reality, That's impossible, isn't it? Right? Most of the time, low cost and differentiation doesn't go along together, right? Remember our case about, we talk about what in class? Macro, okay? Big C, okay, this type of the low cost place. Do you think they have the best service? No, right? Because they have the low cost strategy. They don't care whether you're gonna complain that, you know, your employees, they never smile to me. But they're gonna mind if you say that, you know what, there is another place that have lower cost than you. Because they use the cost leadership strategy. Okay? Do you think in CMMU we have low cost strategy? No, right? Okay. So we better have something, right? For example, differentiation or best service, something like that, right? But it's not low cost. So if anyone answered this question by CSF low cost with differentiation, okay, that may be correct, or student satisfaction, but then when you have low cost, it's shown to me or to us, to all the instructor that you do not understand. It's just a matter of putting something into the answer. That's not enough. Okay? So make sure that you keep that in mind. Now, you can say innovative program, differentiate program, quality instructor, satisfy the demand for the student, so and so, okay? So that can be the critical success factor. When we're talking about critical success factor or business strategy, it can be the nature of the case or the information that the case given to you. Most of the time, I think it's more information given to you in the case, in the exam. So read the case carefully. It's all in there. Okay? Because if we say ABC, some people may know this ABC company, some people may not. So it's not going to be fair. So most of the time, strategy or critical success factor you can find in the case. But it may not be written down directly for you. Of course, we're not going to say that, you know, the ABC company, we use the differentiation strategy. Of course not. But we're going to say something that it can imply that. Okay? Most of the time it will be in the case. Or if it's not in the case and you have to use your knowledge, it must be obvious enough. Okay? It must be obvious enough for you to figure that out. And don't worry, we try to make it fair to everyone. Okay? Any question? Value chain, critical success factor. Not yet? You understand everything? Ready for the exam? Okay. Now, information system for the CMMU. Okay. So if you look at CMMU, what information system that you think it's needed? Okay, let's say this. What information system that we already implemented? The current one. We have e-learning. What else? Registration, right? Okay, let's pick the most obvious one. Registration system. You all familiar with this one? Of course, right? You should be. So registration system. So when we look at the registration system, what type is the registration system in CMMU? What type? So now, when I ask you what type, you should know first, how many types do we have, right? 6. So this is called knowledge in the class that you have to know, that you must know to answer this question. We have 6 types. Okay. Since I think we have time left. Okay, what is the first one? What does it stand for? How about this part? What happened? You took MIS couple, many semesters before. Okay, the third one. MIS. Why are you so quiet this part? I know some of you here, they took the MIS the current semester. And I think you are like 2-3 semester before. Okay, so we have TPS, okay, OAS, MIS, KWS, ESS, okay? So I just give the benefit of the doubt that you know all those 6, okay? In addition to the name, then what? You have to know what is it, right? For example, when we talk about TPS, what organizational level is the TPS system? Operation, right? So you must know, this is the knowledge, we teach this in class. Okay, who use it? You have to be able to specify. And it's the routine, day-to-day job, day-to-day operation. That is the TPS, which is totally different than the ESS, Executive Supporting System, right? Or Executive Information System, or EIS, the same thing. That's been used by the senior manager. And these 2 systems, we have different functionality. This is the routine, day-to-day, detailed information. The ESS is more to do with the summarize. Okay, look into the long-term, strategic planning, so and so. So these are the different. KWS, of course, is different than the ESS. And it's different than the MIS. So what is the difference? This one you must know. But I can tell you that we're not going to ask in the exam. But you must know to be able to apply to the answer. Okay? Then what type? Okay, registration system, what type? TPS. So why? Okay, there is a routine, it's day-to-day. Who is the user of the registration system? Students, right? Or sometimes the admin people. That when we try to make the schedule and we try to arrange the class. Okay? So when we're talking about student as the customer, the student, they do not have organizational level, isn't it? But that's okay. Okay? That's okay. And since we talk about organizational level, how many levels that we have? Okay, operation. Then what? Knowledge. Then what? And then strategy. Okay? 6 types. Then application software. What does ERP stand for? What is it? Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay? It's the application software. ERP is not the name of the system. Okay? Registration Information System, it's not the type. Right? TPS, OAS, KWS, MIS, those are type. So try to be able to differentiate between what is the type, what is the name, what is the application software, so and so. ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, is application software. And then DBMS, what does DBMS stand for? Okay, EDI, Electronic Data Interchange. Okay, that used to send the document back and forth electronically. GIS, Geographic Information System. Okay, for example, if we say, what system do you suggest? What is the name? And you say ERP. That's not quite correct, right? It's not the name, it's not the type. Okay, we will look into ERP a little bit more later. Then hardware. Hardware. What is CPU? Okay. Since we talk about this, information system, we have one lecture about the what? Information technology component, right? We're talking about what? Hardware, software, network, and also database, right? In another lecture. So when you look at the information system, you say that, okay, registration system, you should be able to know or specify what is the hardware of the system, what is the software, what is the network, what is the database. That need to be combined to be that particular information system. Okay? And those knowledge or information is all in the class. You can revise it in lecture 8, IT component. And don't tell me that we don't have, we do have. Now, a little bit about ERP. The reason I mention about ERP is not because it's going to be in the exam or what. It's because most of you confused about this. I say that it's application software. ERP have many elements. They have production planning, logistics, accounting, human resource, sales, distribution. So it's okay for you to suggest ERP as long as you be more specific. ERP in terms of human resource, in terms of production, in terms of what? And also be able to explain the functionality of what you suggest. Okay? But ERP is not enough. Only the word ERP. Because if you look at the example of typical ERP function, it can be more than 10. Only this word doesn't say anything or doesn't answer any question. More detail is needed if you want to suggest this type of the system. Okay? Now, information system for CMMU. These are only my example. It can be more or different than this. I can say that access to use of the internet, instructor evaluation system, or registration system. Okay? Now, when we're talking about system, you should be able to know what type, who use it, functionality. Functionality means what the system do. Okay, registration. What does this system do? What is it? What is it for? Register the class for the student. Is it? Schedule the course, assign instructor so and so, right? So you should be able to say, because the reason we need the functions is because sometimes some people may say, you may not say registration system, right? Sometimes you may say course schedule information system, for example. But it's the same function. As long as you say what does the system do, that should be okay. Okay? The name doesn't matter much, but please try to make it relevant. Not to make it too, out of line. But the functionality, the detail of the system is needed. Now, almost the last one, benefits. Why we need to have the benefit? Why? Why we have to bother talking about this? Why? Why benefit? Cost analysis. Why we need to have this? Okay, to define whether you want to invest into this information system or not. Define what is worth to invest in information system. One thing you should keep in mind is information system is not cheap, right? It's not that you say, okay, we need 1,000 baht to invest in this. That's not that easy. Some project can be 10,000, some project can be million. And most of the time, you pay the cost upfront. The benefit you may get, at the end of the second year, the third year, sometimes even the fifth year. So cost always upfront, benefits always, later. So you should be able to convince your boss. if you work in organization, in IT department, that how does it work? Okay, how much it worth and when and how long we're gonna get things or money back. Okay, and for cost and benefit, we have two types, right? Tangible and intangible. Tangible benefit, intangible benefit, tangible cost, intangible cost. Now, what's the difference between tangible and intangible? What's the difference? Be able to measure, be able to quantify, right? Isn't it? So, of course, tangible cost. Most of the time, we talk about information system, right? So tangible cost may be like cost of the hardware, how many computer, how many server, okay? Software, how much is this system cost? How much if you want to connect to the LAN, the WAN, the network? So that's most of the time it will be tangible cost, hardware, software, network service, people. Don't forget about people. Some company never have IT department. And you cannot just buy some information system and expect everyone to change and be able to use. Training costs, sometimes personnel that you need to hire to make this work. Okay? That can be tangible cost. Tangible benefit. What should be tangible benefit? Profit. What else? Increase sales, reduce operating costs, so and so, right? Since we say that it's measurable, it's quantifiable, means you should be able to make it into numbers, isn't it? Okay? And when we talk about this part, numbers, what do we have to measure this? What model that we use to measure the tangible? Remember, capital budgeting model. Okay? That jumps a little bit off the finance part that we talk about payback period. When will we get the money back, your initial investment back? When we talk about ROI, return on investment, present value, cost benefit ratio, so and so, okay? Now, intangible cost, intangible benefit. Since it says intangible, so it's not measurable, so what is the easiest one? Intangible benefit. Customer satisfaction, right? Always. And the next one that I always get the answer is employee morale. So when you answer this kind of thing, trying to say increase customer satisfaction, increase employee morale, so and so. And the third most popular one is brand image. Isn't it? This type of thing. Which, it's okay. But remember, knowledge, apply to the case. The second part, apply to the case, means when you say increase customer satisfaction, that's fine. How? How registration system in CMMU will increase your satisfaction? How? Can you tell me how? Why? Why are you going to satisfy more if we have registration system? It's convenient. Reduce time to come to the school to register. It's faster. You can check it at home. So this kind of thing means the benefits that specific to the case. Okay? If we let a supplier to check the order online, for example, if we are manufacturing, and we can increase customer satisfaction. How? Why? It's going to be different than your CMMU registration system example, but it must be given specific, given to the case. Means all these intangible costs and benefit, it's okay as long as you explain why and how. Why? It will increase employee morale. Most of the time it doesn't. And you get 0 for that. Okay? Even though employee morale sounds good, but it doesn't apply. But if you can write anything to apply, that's fine. But to say like this, if you say, this registration system will help to improve employee morale. That doesn't say anything, right? It doesn't give me any additional information how and why. Okay, so be careful about this. Again, all these nice keywords is not enough, are not enough. Explanation, justification is needed for all this. Okay, cost benefit part, please keep that in mind. Any question? Okay, improve, see, improve student satisfaction, how? Because it can satisfy demand. Means that sometimes a lot of students may register for one particular class a lot, and we can see it right away. You may open a new section for that, okay? So it can satisfy your demand. It can make it convenient to you, speed of access. Instead of have to come here, you can just connect it at home, so and so, okay? Reduce staff workload, reduce time, so and so, okay? So this can be some benefit. Okay. Remember this diagram, lecture 1, this one, right? And if some of you took my class, I keep asking you to repeat again and again, right? Okay. So, information system, what are the 4 components of information system? I ask you again, by the way. Okay, just 4 components is not that hard, right? The reason, of course, I have the reason why. The reason of information system that have 4 components that I personally think is very useful for you to know, because information system is not just only software, hardware, network. That's only this part, right? IT part. Hardware, software, network is just only this part. But also it have data, information. Remember, when we're talking about information system, I always ask you input, output, process. Remember? Input, process, output. What could be input for the registration system? What is the process? What is the output information? Okay? So this kind of thing is very important as well, because different information systems will have totally different information input, output, and process. And then working process. When you have information system, the process can be the same thing as the function, right? What does the system do? The function. And then people mean who use the system. Because if you can specify the user of the system and the organizational level, you should be able to specify the type, isn't it? Okay, it's all come together. So these 4 components, I think it fits nicely about the knowledge that we taught in class. Okay? But if you don't want to remember it, that's fine as well. It's not going to be on the exam that which 4 components are for the information system. Okay? But I think if you know about these 4, at least you can frame your thought when you think about an information system. Okay? It can frame you to think in the scope, not, go in all different ways. And since factor in success or failure, we talked about this in the last class, right? That when you implement an information system, they have people involved, right? They have design issue, they have the process issue, they have the cost and everything. So think about implementation issue as well. User and designers always have the different thought, isn't it? Okay? And most of the time, people who build the system usually are not the user of the system. That's why many software company needs to have the user requirement session. Okay? Even that, sometimes it's not going to work that well. But at least we get some fundamental requirement from the user. Okay? And then that's the factor for success and failure. So the issue here, for example, you suggest this registration system, so you should know The issue, process change, training, dealing with resistance. Oh, and actually this one go right to the what? Intangible cost, right? Resistant to change. Most popular one again. Explain why. Why the employees, why the user will resist to change for the new system. And it would be nicer if you can say who are the user, who are those people that may resist to change. It may not be only employees, right? It may be students, it may be patients, it may be doctors, it may be instructors that resist to change. Who and why? That will make your answer to be more specific and clear to us what you're trying to say. Okay? Any question? So this is what you should do. Manage your time. Okay, how many questions do you have for comprehensive exam? Okay, you have 5 subjects, right? You have to choose 3. And most of the time for each subject we have about what? 2-3 questions. And you have how many hours? 3 hours. So you should, is it 3 hours, is it? Make sure you get this information correctly, okay? So, okay, more or less, okay, quiet. More or less, you will have what? 1 hour for MIS, if you choose to do so, right? 1 hour should not be more than this. Okay, the time schedule, you can talk about that later, okay? So you have about what? 1 hour for MIS? Hopefully, right? So if we have about 3 questions, so it should be what? How long? 20 minutes each, right? But for the case, you have to spend some time to read the case. But for this time, the case is for all 3 questions, all 3 subjects. So that should be, you read it once. The good thing is you can read it once. The bad thing is if you do not understand, too bad. Okay, so 20 minutes each, for example. Manage your time. Try not to stuck into one question for more than 20 minutes. 15, okay, let's say 15. If you 15 minutes still blank, move on, okay? Move on to the next question or move on to the next subject, I don't know. But manage the time. Manage the time carefully. This part, okay? Because most of the time you ran out of time, and that's the problem. Okay, manage the time. You know what I mean? Read the question and the case carefully. If I ask you to answer this and this, so answer 2 things. Okay? Most of the time we ask you 3 things, you answer 2 things. So believe me, in MIS we already spread the grade or the points to all questions that been asked. Okay? So if you did not answer, doesn't matter whether the question that you answer is the best one. You still miss the point that you forget to answer anyway. Okay? So read the question and the case carefully. Again, these 3 criteria that we use to grade you. Make sure your answers are complete and correct. Complete and correct. Then, ability to apply to the case. Please do know what you're doing. Please do know what the case are talking or saying to you. Okay? And then flow with logical link. Remember, in the MIS class, after you suggest information system, you should be able to link back to what? Link back to what? Critical success factor. Okay? And how? Please don't say that registration system will help us to enhance the differentiation. That's not enough. Explain how and why it will enhance, why it will make the business strategy to be successful. Okay? So that's called flow with logical link. Those are the 3 criteria. Only 3 criteria that we use to grade the MIS exam. Okay, this one I already tell you, right? Keep The answer brief and to the point. Please do not say everything you memorize from the sheet. Long essay, not necessary. Bullet points, more suitable. Okay. This part, a little bit careful, okay? When I say bullet point, more suitable, if compared to long essay, but it doesn't matter, your bullet point is enough. If I say, please write your answer in more detail about so and so, so bullet point is not enough, okay? But this statement is what I want to say is get to the point. Try not to write down something and hopefully we pick up something. How many people of you taking the comprehensive exam? How many papers we have to grade, okay? So get to the point. And yeah, so that should be the thing. And remember, again, this one is communication, isn't it, right? Whatever you think it should be the answer for the question, please write it down. Oh, another thing is, some of you might write down your what you call your answer in the scratch paper. Is it? Some of you might have some like summarize for yourself. Okay, in another page. That's fine. But if you have the scratch paper here, we're not going to read that. So make sure that let us know where will be your answer. Okay, you laugh, but that happened every semester. You came to me after the exam and say, Ajahn, my answer is here, and how can we know? And please answer the right subject. You laugh again. So make sure that if you answer MIS, you answer about information system, not marketing, not finance. Because I cannot go into every subject to find your answer. I will look at only MIS. See, if it doesn't answer the question, you don't get a point, right? Straightforward. Nothing that complicated. So this kind of thing, it's very unfortunate, but try to be careful about this. Some of you who never faced this problem, that's good for you. Some of you who did it before, so try not to let it happen again. Okay? So I think that should be all. And good luck to all of you. Okay? Hopefully I not see you again next tutorial.